Are Aly and AJ here?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you guys.
Awesome. Hi, Madison.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing good. Thank you guys for coming on today and doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Sweet. So I'm just going to do a little intro and then we can get into the questions. So hello and welcome to 90.3 WMSC. My name is Madison Everett and I'm the music director at the station. And today we are joined with Aly and AJ to talk a little bit about themselves, their music, and their new single, Listen. So I'd asked you guys this already, but how are you guys and how have you been holding up with everything that's been going on this past year?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we're hanging in there.
It's a year of change, that's for sure.
Yeah. We, thankfully have, been lucky enough to be able to test, many times over, the past 9 months. And neither of us have gotten sick. None of our, creative partners in the making of the album have gotten sick. So that's really wonderful.
And we've managed to just stay really creative.
Yeah, we have.
And, stick with a really close-knit bubble of people. Like, I think Aly and I are incredibly lucky because we basically live together. We're right next door to each other. And we've just had a very small kind of crew surrounding us this whole time, like whether it's making a music video or cutting the record. And Aly's right. Everyone stayed really healthy and respectful of the pandemic and the protocol that's in place. And we've managed to stay really creative this past year and really focus on time to just create a record.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like such a good, I guess, point to make is the fact that me personally, from being someone who doesn't make music but listens to it, I noticed there was such a level of creativity within the past year that really stuck out with artists that I didn't feel we really got before that, because it allowed so many people to kind of be at home and kind of realize, like, what do I want to make? What do I want people to know about me? That's not so mainstream.
I also think that part of it too was that it forced people, to not be on the road. So, a lot of people were like, well, then what else can I do that is, around my music? And that's really like writing or being in the studio.
Yeah, I think the biggest letdown for Aly and I this year, if we're just talking about creatively, would be not being able to play live shows, like not being able to be in front of your fans and even exposing some of the new music early by playing it live would have been really cool. We would have probably done that towards the end of last year. We didn't have a tour booked in 2020, but we definitely had one-off shows booked and we just weren't able to fulfill those, which was heartbreaking for us. But to make this album and focus on this new material has been really cool because we haven't released a full album in 15 years.
Yeah. And that kind of leads in, to the next question is you guys have had a really long career within the entertainment industry in general. What is something specifically about the music industry, though, that you guys have been happy to see change?
Gosh, I think there's I think everyone is just on the same playing field right now. Like there's a humility to how we're all making material that just is kind of across the board the same. Like no one can go out and be super glamorized and tour and, play a giant festival. It's like we're all just here taking Zoom meetings and Zoom interviews from our couch. It's like everyone lives differently, but we're all kind of feeling like equals right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's experiencing COVID in similar ways.
And I feel like, the one way that AJ and I think have been able to embrace, the fans that we have kind of had with us, over, the 15 years that we've been making music. I guess 15 years or a little bit longer.
Yeah, even longer.
I'm 32. AJ's gonna be 30. That's so weird. We, I think we have really embraced this idea of people are able to access music a lot differently than when we put out music as 13 and 15-year-olds back in the day. Streaming was not around. People were not able to just listen to an artist in any part of the country. It was like they had to go and hunt down that CD in a tower of records. And I think that is one really, cool positive behind streaming is that it's made music listening really accessible. At the same time, it has, hurt artists because it's not nearly as profitable. So the pressure to go out and tour and the pressure to, deliver music constantly in a way that, you would maybe just drop an album and then you'd be kind of silent for a year or two. That's not really the norm anymore. But I do think that it keeps us as artists really like creatively pushing our boundaries and continuing to find like new ways to stay creative, even if that's not music. And I think that, you know, AJ and I have been able to utilize this really weird, bizarre time that we're going to look back on, you know, as a society, as a way to you know, bring music that's going to uplift people and hopefully bring people to a point of you know, I don't know, like hopeful, brighter, better days. And you know, we wanted to still talk about subject matters that are, you know, harder to wrap our heads around, you know, whether that's maybe, you know, dealing with depression or mental illness, or, you know, just struggling, you know, with your self-worth. And those are topics that we're always going to speak about because that's just who we are. But at the same time, we wanted this record to make people feel good. And that's, I think, the majority of these songs off this album should give you that feeling.
Yeah. And that makes me so excited because, I mean, specifically what you said is something that I noticed was so prominent within the songs and albums that came out last year, is a lot of topics that everybody was kind of silently dealing with. You were hearing from these artists that people would look up to, and you are in this position, especially myself, where you realize it's not just me going through it. These people who we idolize and we put on this pedestal are going through the same things, and it really humbled a lot of us too, I think, in a way. And you guys were even talking about it. I mean, it's been over 15 years. You guys had released 10 years in 2018, and then We Don't Stop in 2020. How was making those specific albums after such a long break and returning back to the scene as more mature people and where you're at in your lives?
I mean, I think it's wild because Aly and I have grown so much from this industry, but also just in general as human beings. We've been doing this now for 20 years, I guess you could say, quote unquote, professionally. But I think Aly and I have just been able to figure out what truly matters to us. And the music is the foundation and the heartbeat of what we do. So write great songs. At the end of the day, that's what matters. And I think Aly and I, because of this year of unprecedented times and not being on a television show right now and really having the time and dedication to the music, we've been able to realize like it's all about the material. It's all about writing a great song and writing something that resonates with not only us personally, but what we know is going to resonate with our fans. And I think that's been the biggest learning growth, or the biggest growth has been our songwriting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good to hear. And I'm so excited specifically to hear the new album because, you know, with Listen, to me, especially compared to the last album, had a different feel and look to it than your previous music, a little more alternative and such. Is that a direction that you guys are trying to go into with this new song and this new album?
Definitely. I think, you know, obviously COVID just put restrictions on certain things, you know, when it came to like photo shoots or, you know, glam. And we just felt, okay, you know, this year we're just going to kind of pare certain things down and we're just going to do our own hair and makeup. Like I'm styling the band completely ourselves. Like I'm buying mainly like vintage things online and they're just shipping to the house, or I'll work with like a, you know, PR company that sends things and they're for borrow and then they get sent back. And, you know, usually we would maybe work with a stylist or we'd have, you know, hair and makeup over and just like the things that make you feel really comfortable and are like little extra perks. Those things were just kind of taken away due to safety and just due to us saying, look, like we don't need all these things to feel like validated as an artist. You know, I feel like some of the great artists of like the 60s and 70s, and you can even go further back, like they didn't have stylists. They just went up on stage and played the music. And that's all they really gave a fuck about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I think that there's, you know, great creativity in being an artist. And, you know, that can come from music videos, from, you know, set design, you know, hair and makeup, all that's great. But at the same time, I think that like stripping that all away and just being like the core part of the music is so wonderful and so magical. And a lot of artists don't want to do that because there's no, you know, fireworks and, you know, pizzazz kind of going on that can sometimes distract you from like just the
nuts
heartbeat,
and bolts.
Yeah, the nuts and bolts and heartbeat of what we put out there. So
Absolutely.
we kind of, as an experiment, just said like, let's just strip that all away and just be completely us. You know, if you run into us in the street, like we're probably going to just look like we look in the Listen music video, and there's something kind of great about that. And yeah, we wanted to take a little bit more of an alternative route with this music. I think we've always kind of wanted to do that, but we've just been scared to. I think we've just never felt like we had the permission to, or that we thought that our fans would enjoy it. And I think we went kind of back to the drawing board a bit and agreed that this album was going to be something that we focused on in a different way than the past records that we made. And that was really just me and AJ in a room with live musicians, cutting things, real time, not a lot of programming, not a lot of, it was human interaction, and putting the human back into music was really exciting for us. And I think that this is the record that we've always been, born to make, and we just never were brave enough to make it until now.
Yeah. And that makes me so excited, specifically just because I think, again, I mean, with 2020 is like, we had all these live shows and all these things going on, and these people would stand out in front of you in full glam. And I think in a way that's such an awesome approach, because for us, as human beings, you want to feel so natural with these people that you listen to their music and you support. And I think that's going to be such a good response for you guys, specifically knowing that you're kind of just going back to your roots and trying to be as natural in yourselves as possible. And it makes me really happy to hear that you guys feel like this is a record that you guys have always been trying to work on and just never had the time or energy to. And I mean, you guys kind of touched on it before, but what was one thing specifically that you took away from last year that not only impacted your personal selves, but your music coming into 2021?
I mean, we had never had this much time on our hands to make music together in the same place. A lot of it was AJ doing a session, and I would not be there, or I would be able to like come in at the very end, but it was never like us together in a room, kind of uninterrupted for this long of a period of time, because we were committed to TV shows at the time. So I think that was one of the wonderful things that came out of the music that we made for this record, was that we actually had a lot of time to write, a lot of time to tweak lyrics, to make lyrics better, to change melodies, to let our, live musicians that cut these songs in a room be able to be together in one place at the same time, and to give them kind of creative license to, take the song and like play with it. I don't know. I think it was those things that really stood out to AJ and I think.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good to hear. And it's so interesting to hear everybody's experience from 2020, because I think, like you said before, we've all been different or living different lives, and we've all experienced things differently and taken things away from the year differently than other people. So I'm happy to know that you guys are coming into 2021 so strong. And lastly, if you are able to share anything, because I know you mentioned like a music video and you just released a single, what can we expect from you guys in 2021?
I mean, it's just feeling so good to know we have an album coming out this year. We're announcing the date soon, so we're just kind of holding off on that info for now, but we've told ourselves we're just going to take this time to release single after single until we drop the album, and we've never really done that before. So I think it'll be a very special unveiling of a handful of songs that we'll release before the album is fully out. And I think that'll be cool. It'll be a good introduction to this record and what it means to us and how it sounds. And each song will have a video, and we've never created this much content surrounding each song before. So, I mean, at this point, we've made 7 videos. It's been insane between lyric and non-lyric. And it just feels good to have this much time to create. And I'm excited for our fans to just get kind of a drop every month until the album comes out.
And then hopefully tour when everything is safe.
Yes.
That's definitely getting set up. I mean, it's weird because everything is kind of up in the air for a lot of artists on when to tour, when it'll feel safe to tour, all the protocols with your band and crew. But at the same time, I do have hope and faith that, with the vaccines being, finally given out, I think that we will see, a huge turn with people finally being able to go back to concerts again. And that'll be so, I mean, that's kind of wild to just think that there's been, a year, more than a year of people not going to shows. It's just wild. It's such a release for so many people.
And what an amazing way to get human interaction back.
Oh, I know.
Is to play live.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
100%. I mean, like every day I miss it. Like it makes you miss it so much more. And I was telling my friend the other day, like we have a concert booked for November as of now, and they're still doing it. And it just, I'm so excited for the day that you're able to play live shows again, because there's going to be such an experience of emotion going on in that room, of them being so excited to be able to play for you guys. And I just have this scene of like crying together in a way of just being like, we're back, you know?
Yeah,
Totally.
we feel that way too.
Yeah, but I'm so excited to see the videos and the singles, because from being, I mean, you guys being in the industry for so long, it's been such a standard to just release an album. And for a while, that's what you did, is you released a vinyl or a CD, and that's all people got. And I think, you know, that's something so interesting about the industry nowadays, is you're able to kind of give fans something and get them excited over a period of time for this big project. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what you guys do with everything. And yeah, I just want to personally thank you guys for coming on and doing this and being a part of our station. So
Yeah, it's a
Madison?
great conversation with you.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But no, I hope you guys have a fantastic year, and hopefully we will be able to talk again at some point in life. And yeah, I hope to be at one of your concerts in the next year or so.
We would love that.
We hope that we can join, you know, the other November, December gigs, where at least we get like some sort of moment in 2021 to perform live.
Absolutely. I would love that. But yeah, enjoy your guys' nights and your days. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for the time.
Stay safe.
Yeah, of course. You too.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.